Have you ever looked at your gas gauge and thought, that can't be right, I just filled up? We've all been there. The truth is, half the fuel we burn has nothing to do with bad engines. It's the way we ride. Back in the day, the old-timers knew how to stretch a tank. Steady throttle, smart routes, and a well-tuned chain. Somewhere along the line, that wisdom got buried under tech and hype. So tonight, we're bringing it back. 5 simple tricks that cost nothing, work on any bike, and save real money. Number 5. Ride smooth. There is a quiet truth every seasoned rider learns. The calm hand always rides farther than the heavy one. Riding smooth is not about slowing down. It is about mastering control. Every sudden jab at the throttle, every hard brake, and every frustrated burst burns more fuel than you realize. Smoothness saves money because it keeps your power steady, your mind clear, and your machine efficient. A relaxed wrist keeps the motor breathing easy. Gentle roll-ons and early roll-offs let momentum do part of the work, and momentum costs nothing. The throttle is not an on and off switch. It is a dial that rewards patience. When you feed power with purpose instead of anger, the road opens up instead of fighting back. Anger behind the bars comes from hurry, traffic, or a bad mood carried into the saddle. But the road does not care about frustration. Every tense breath and tight shoulder wastes energy and focus. Calm riders stay ahead of the chaos because they anticipate instead of react. They ride with rhythm, steady inputs, measured turns, no jerks, no surprises. That rhythm keeps fuel burn low and confidence high. Smoothness turns reaction into response. When you respond instead of lash out, the bike stays balanced, traction stays predictable, and the gas stays in the tank. It is not about crawling, it is about staying composed. The best long-haul riders glide through miles without drama. They are not slower, they are just more precise. The trick is simple. Ride like the throttle costs money, because it does. A clean, deliberate twist is the difference between wasting a gallon and saving one. Ease off early before a stop. Roll on gently out of a curve. Keep the engine in its comfortable range and let torque carry you instead of panic power. Each quiet correction adds up over a day, a week, a season. Smooth riding also keeps the body fresh. When your motions are calm, you fight less wind, less vibration, and less fatigue. That composure turns into endurance, and endurance turns into better mileage. A steady posture, steady breathing, and steady hands make a measurable difference. This trick costs nothing but attention. It is a mindset you can practice on every ride. Watch farther ahead, plan your moves, and stay light on the controls. When something unexpected happens, respond with patience, not panic. A calm approach to motion means fewer sudden stops, fewer hard accelerations, and a smoother fuel line. The best part of this habit is that it builds on itself. Once you ride smooth for a while, it becomes second nature. You find a rhythm with the road again, the same kind of rhythm you had when you first started riding. The bike feels like it is working with you instead of against you. You get to the same places with less effort, less gas, and a lot more peace. So the next time you head out, remind yourself before hitting the starter. Calm hands, steady eyes, smooth heart. Ride like a craftsman, not a brawler. Let control replace frustration, and let patience pay for your next tank. Riding smooth is not a fancy trick. It is an old one, proven by every rider who ever made it home with gas left in the tank and a clear head under the helmet. If this kind of straight talk matters to you, hit that like button and subscribe now. Every day we break down the real stories riders need to hear. No hype, no fluff, just the truth about keeping your ride strong and smart. What's the biggest issue you think riders aren't talking about enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. Number 4. Plan routes like you mean it. The easiest way to save money on gas begins long before the ride starts. Planning your route is one of those simple, often overlooked habits that separates the careless from the careful. Every unnecessary stoplight, traffic jam, and steep hill eats into your tank. But a rider who plans ahead turns miles into money saved. It is about knowing when to ride, where to ride, and how to keep the wheels moving instead of idling away fuel. Time is your first tool. Ride when the roads breathe. Early mornings and late evenings usually mean less traffic, cooler air, and smoother movement. Avoiding rush hour alone can stretch a tank farther than most realize. Every minute spent sitting behind brake lights is gas burned without reward. Plan your rides for calm windows of the day when the road belongs to you, not the crowd. Next, focus on flow. The best roads are not always the shortest. They are the ones that let you keep a steady pace. A clean rhythm of throttle and coast beats the constant start-stop grind of downtown lights. Pick routes with long open stretches, gentle turns, and fewer intersections. The bike performs better when it moves naturally, and so does your fuel economy. Terrain matters too. Climbing steep hills drains a tank faster than cruising level ground. Build momentum before a rise, then hold a steady throttle on the climb instead of gunning it. On the way down, use gravity to your advantage. Coast in gear and let the engine rest while it keeps speed under control. Small changes like that add up to big savings over a season. The wind is another quiet factor. A strong headwind can steal fuel, while a mild tailwind gives it back. If you are riding open highways, check the wind direction before you go. Plan a return route that uses it to your advantage whenever possible. Nature becomes your ally when you ride with awareness. Group your errands or stops into one warm ride instead of several cold starts. Every cold engine drinks more fuel before it settles into its stride. One loop through town beats 4 separate trips. The trick is to think like a pilot. Plan a circuit, not a back and forth. You will save time, gas, and wear all at once. Pay attention to the surface beneath you. Fresh asphalt rolls smoother, and smooth roads mean less resistance. Rough or broken pavement forces the suspension and tires to work harder, and that resistance costs fuel. When you have a choice between a short, rough path and a slightly longer but smoother road, pick the smoother one. Your bike will glide easier, and your wallet will feel the difference. It also pays to know your local roads intimately. Some streets look faster on a map, but hide a dozen red lights. Others may twist longer, but flow better. Learn the rhythm of your own area. The lights, the construction zones, the times of day certain stretches clog up. That local knowledge is free fuel efficiency. Keep an eye on conditions that change without warning, weather, roadwork, or community events. A sudden closure can leave you idling in a line of traffic, burning gas for nothing. 5 minutes of checking ahead can save half a gallon later. Riders who prepare rarely get stuck reacting. Even the smallest details count. Park with your exit in mind so you do not waste fuel backing up or turning around. Use the terrain to your favor. If you can, park on a slight slope that lets you roll out instead of throttling up from a standstill. Over time, these micro decisions shape how far your fuel takes you. It is not about turning every ride into a science project. It is about awareness, knowing that the right timing, route, and attitude make a real difference. When you plan your rides with purpose, you give yourself freedom from frustration and the pump. The road becomes smoother, the ride becomes calmer, and the tank lasts longer. The truth is, efficiency is not just mechanical, it is mental. Riders who respect the route respect their machines. The ones who rush, guess, or go without thought end up paying more at the pump and in stress. But those who pause before they ride, who look at the map and think it through, end the day richer in both fuel and peace. Planning your route like you mean it is not complicated. It is simply a matter of habit. 5 minutes of thought before you roll out. Once you make it part of your routine, it becomes automatic, like checking your mirrors or putting on your gloves. And when that habit sticks, you will notice what every veteran rider already knows. The smartest routes are not the shortest ones. They are the smoothest, the steadiest, and the ones that let you keep riding longer without paying for it twice. Before we roll to the next tip, take a second to check the description. Everything that keeps your ride efficient and ready is linked there. Number 3, kill friction. Air, chain, and drag. Friction is the quiet thief of every ride. You do not see it, but you feel it every time your bike works harder than it should. It hides in your tires, your chain, and the air pushing against you. Killing friction is one of the easiest and cheapest tricks to save fuel, stretch your range, and make your machine feel alive again. Start with the simplest one, air. Tire pressure makes or breaks fuel efficiency. Low air turns every mile into a fight. The tires flatten out, drag increases, and your engine burns more gas just to keep moving. Keep them balanced, neither soft nor rock hard. The right air pressure lets the tires roll clean, grip steady, and glide smooth. Check it when the tires are cold, not after the ride, because heat will fool the reading. It takes less than a minute, and it is the fastest way to earn back-wasted fuel. Next, the chain. That thin line of steel links connects every ounce of power to the pavement. When it is dry or dirty, it fights you. When it is clean and lubed, it rewards you. After a long day or a wet ride, wipe it down, reapply lube, and check for tension. You are not just protecting the parts, you are freeing the power. A neglected chain eats energy, grinds metal, and wastes fuel. A healthy one runs silent and smooth, turning every drop of gas into motion instead of friction. Drag comes from more than wind. It comes from clutter. Loose gear, bulky luggage, or even flapping clothes can turn your bike into a sail. The air has weight, and when you fight it, you pay for it in fuel. Pack tight, ride tidy, and keep your shape clean in the wind. A small windshield adjustment or a smoother riding posture can slice through drag like a knife through paper. Less wind resistance means fewer throttle twists and longer stretches between fill-ups. Your cargo matters just as much. Keep the heavy stuff low and centered. A well-balanced load tracks straight and easy. A lopsided setup makes you fight for control, wasting both effort and fuel. Every correction, every sway, every overcompensated turn pulls gas from your tank. When the bike ride's balanced, it rolls like it wants to go forever. Even the road plays a part. Rough pavement and potholes drag down momentum. When you can, take the smoother line. It may not be shorter, but it will be easier on both you and your engine. Smooth asphalt lets your tires do what they were built to do, glide. And the smoother you glide, the less fuel you burn. Wind is a force you cannot see, but you can plan around it. A headwind can empty a tank faster than a hill climb. Check the day's conditions before a long ride. If you can, adjust your direction or schedule. Catching a tailwind can make a full tank feel endless. The air is free. It just depends on whether you fight it or flow with it. Friction also hides in small places. Throttle cables, brake pivots, clutch levers, wheel bearings. A touch of lube or a small adjustment keeps everything easy and responsive. When the bike feels stiff or resistant, it is telling you that friction has built up somewhere. Fix it before it becomes a habit that burns your gas instead of your tires. The beauty of killing friction is that it is simple discipline, not complex repair. It costs next to nothing and pays back every single ride. When the tires are firm, the chain is clean, and the air moves around you instead of against you. You feel it right away. The throttle feels lighter, the ride feels smoother, and the gas gauge drops slower. This is what seasoned riders already know. Efficiency is not magic, it is maintenance. Every bit of drag you remove gives your engine one less burden. You are not chasing speed, you are chasing harmony between the road and the machine. Keep the moving parts clean, the air paths clear, and your body calm in the wind. Killing friction is not a secret, it is a choice, a habit that separates the riders who maintain from the ones who complain. The smoother the machine runs, the more it gives back. Less drag, less strain, less waste. Over time, those small bits of attention turn into gallons saved and miles gained. The ride feels freer, the bike lasts longer, and you keep more money in your pocket without giving up an ounce of power. Number 2, shift with intent. Find the sweet spot. Fuel efficiency is not magic, it is rhythm. Every time you shift, you either waste energy or preserve it. The difference comes down to intent. Shifting with intent means knowing what your machine wants and moving through the gears with purpose, not habit. Every motion of your hand and foot should work together, calm and deliberate. When you hit that balance, the engine stops fighting you and starts flowing with you. The sweet spot lives between strain and speed, the point where the motor feels strong but relaxed. You can hear it in the sound, a smooth hum instead of a growl or whine. That is where fuel economy hides. Keep your engine there as often as possible, and you will stretch every tank farther without losing the joy of the ride. Lugging the motor, riding in too high a gear at low speed, feels gentle but costs more fuel than you think. The engine struggles, burns rich, and wastes energy fighting itself. On the other hand, revving too high turns fuel into noise. The trick is to stay in that middle zone where power is ready but not forced. Smooth, early shifts under light load keep the ride clean and efficient. Every shift should feel invisible. No jerk, no hesitation, just motion. Rushed shifting wastes energy, just like lazy shifting does. The goal is fluid connection, one gear to the next, seamless. Listen to the motor. It tells you what it needs. When it starts to sound tight, shift up. When it feels heavy, shift down. You will know when you have it right because the bike feels lighter under you, almost as if it is doing the work for you. Use engine braking whenever you can. When slowing for a light or a curve, downshift early and let the engine do part of the slowing. It saves brake wear, it steadies your control, and it costs nothing in fuel. The energy that would have gone into the brakes now helps you stay composed and balanced. It is not about speed, it is about efficiency. Clutch control matters more than most riders admit. Dumping it wastes power, slipping it too long wastes momentum. A clean, controlled release gives your shifts precision. You will feel the pull steady and sure instead of jerky. That precision keeps your fuel use even and your engine stress low. The clutch is your handshake with the bike, firm, measured, and respectful. Out on open roads, you can stretch your gears a little longer, letting the torque carry you instead of chasing high revs. In town, shift earlier and ride with smoother throttle to stay within the engine's calm range. The more consistent your rhythm, the better your mileage. It is like keeping a steady heartbeat instead of spikes of effort. The throttle and gearbox are a conversation. Twist too fast and the bike shouts back. Ease on with intent and it listens. Small, steady movements save more gas than big corrections. Smooth shifting keeps fuel flow even and steady instead of wasting bursts with each jerk of power. Over time, those smooth shifts become second nature, and your tank lasts longer without you even thinking about it. This easy trick is not about slowing down. It is about smart timing. Riders who know their gears know their range. They let the road guide their rhythm. The engine sounds healthy. The acceleration feels natural, and the machine gives back more than it takes. Once you ride like that, you never go back to clumsy shifting again. The truth is simple. Every bad shift costs fuel, and every good one earns it back. When you ride with intent, you are not just saving money, you are mastering control. The gearbox becomes an ally instead of a chore. You can feel the harmony between the engine and the road, a sense that the machine understands you. Shift with intent, not reaction. Feel the pull, read the sound, stay in rhythm. Find that sweet spot and hold it. Steady, confident, unforced. You will notice it instantly. Smoother takeoffs, quieter runs, and longer stretches between gas stops. That is what happens when skill replaces guesswork. Shifting with intent is not about working harder, it is about riding smarter. Once you find that flow, your machine rewards you every single mile. If you value honest insight made for real riders, go ahead and subscribe. You'll get the kind of garage wisdom, road-tested habits, and fuel-saving truths that keep your machine running right and your passion alive every single mile. Number 1. Measure everything, then cut the waste. The smartest riders do not guess how far their gas takes them. They know. Measuring is the simplest and most powerful trick to save fuel because it turns every ride into a lesson. You cannot improve what you do not track. When you start keeping an eye on your mileage, you stop wasting gas without even realizing it. Begin with awareness. Every time you fill up, note your miles and how much fuel you add. Reset your trip meter and track how far that tank goes. Do it for a few rides and patterns will start to appear. You will see which habits stretch your range and which ones drain it. The road tells the truth, but only if you're paying attention. Once you know your baseline, you can start cutting the waste. Maybe you notice the numbers drop when you sit in traffic too long, or twist the throttle harder leaving stoplights. Maybe it climbs when you keep a steady pace or roll smooth through back roads. Measuring turns those hunches into proof. You start riding smarter, not harder. The act of tracking keeps you honest. Every time you fill up, you will remember what you did that week. Too much idling, aggressive riding, heavy cargo, or lazy tire checks. The data does not lie. It quietly shows what costs you money and what keeps your tank alive. When you have the numbers, you control the outcome. This trick also helps you spot problems before they grow expensive. If your mileage suddenly drops, it is a sign that something is off. Maybe a dirty air filter, dragging brake, or worn spark plug. You will not need a mechanic to tell you something feels wrong. Your fuel record will make it obvious. Catching those changes early saves both fuel and repair bills. You can do it the old-fashioned way with a notebook in your saddlebag, or just snap a photo of your odometer at each stop. The method does not matter. The habit does. After a few months, you will know your machine's rhythm by heart. You will know how weather, terrain, or load affects your range. And once you understand that, fuel stops stop being a surprise. They become a choice. Cutting the waste goes beyond fuel itself. Look at the weight you carry. Those old tools, spare gear, or heavy bags might be costing you more than you think. Keep what you need. Shed what you don't. Every pound you remove is fuel saved over distance. It is not about stripping your ride bare. It is about trimming the excess that serves no purpose. Idle time is another hidden leak. Many riders start the engine early and let it warm for minutes that cost them a quarter-mile of range. Today's machines warm best on the move. Fire it up, ride easy for the first few minutes, and let motion do the work. It saves fuel, keeps the oil circulating, and gets you moving instead of standing still burning money. Even your route choices fit into this trick. When you measure your miles regularly, you start to see which paths cost more fuel. A long, smooth route at steady pace often burns less gas than a short, stop-and-go shortcut. The numbers will prove it. Once you know the truth, you can ride with purpose instead of guesswork. This habit also sharpens your instincts. The more you track, the more your senses pick up small shifts. The engine's tone, the throttle's pull, the weight of the bike under you. You learn to recognize when something feels off before the numbers even show it. Measuring teaches awareness, and awareness teaches economy. The real beauty of this trick is how little effort it takes. Just a glance at the odometer, a quick note, and a little consistency. Over time, you will notice the tank lasting longer, the wallet staying heavier, and the ride feeling smoother. It is a quiet discipline, the kind of wisdom that comes from respect for the road, for the machine, and for the miles you've earned. Measure everything, not to chase perfection, but to understand your own rhythm. When you know what your machine needs, you stop wasting effort, gas, and money. Every ride becomes more deliberate, every fill-up more predictable. That is how seasoned riders stay ahead, by treating knowledge like the most valuable tool they own. The lesson is simple. Numbers reveal truth. Keep track of your fuel, learn your patterns, and trim the habits that drain your range. No gadgets, no gimmicks, just awareness. When you measure what matters, you control what costs you. And the moment you start doing that, you stop letting fuel slip through your fingers and start letting the miles work in your favor. In the end, saving money on gas isn't about luck. It's about discipline, awareness, and respect for the road. Every smooth shift, steady throttle, and measured ride keeps your freedom alive. That's the thing about riding. Every small habit adds up. Smooth throttle, smart routes, clean chains, steady shifts. They're not just fuel tricks. They're a way of riding that keeps your freedom alive mile after mile. The guys who get it already know. It's not about luck at the pump. It's about skill in the saddle. If this kind of straight talk matters to you, hit that like button and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what's your go-to move for squeezing the most miles out of every tank?